Greetings once again to my channel. Today, we're diving further in the 140-year evolution of Turf Moor. We are concentrating on the years between 1880 and 1935. In our previous video, we explored the intricate beginnings of the cricket club, which had backed the formation of Burnley FC and later supported its move to Turf Moor financially. However, the partnership soured due to the footballers' failure to maintain the pavilion and insufficient financial contributions for upkeep. Turf Moor's history is vast. The moor is over 1,000 years old and had previously served as an army rifle range, a racecourse, and even a circus venue. We've also discussed the various grandstands and pavilions at the cricket ground, most of which were temporary. But as both clubs gained prominence in the late 19th century, there was a requirement for more permanent terraces. In February 1883, a month after taking residence at Turf Moor, Burnley FC played their first game at the ground against Rawtenstall. The game ended in a 6-3 defeat for Burnley, but as a local newspaper pointed out, the strong winds that day made accurate play a challenge. At this early stage, Turf Moor was essentially an expansive field, featuring a prominent natural hill that served as a vantage point for many spectators. Interestingly, the pitch had a noticeable slope, a characteristic that would persist for nearly 100 years before finally being rectified. During its early years, Turf Moor attracted an average crowd of around 2,000. However, when local rivals Padiham came to play in March 1884, the attendance skyrocketed to 12,000. The limited facilities meant fans had to either crowd around the pitch or watch from a hill at the back. To address this, an 800-seat wooden grandstand was erected along what was then Brunshall Road, along with terraces that could accommodate 5,000 standing spectators. In 1886, Turf Moor received royal attention when Prince Albert Victor, Queen Victoria's grandson, attended a match between Burnley and Bolton Wanderers. We'll delve into this royal visit in a future video. Burnley FC, in its 7th year, joined the Football League as a founding member. Their first season saw them finish 9th, requiring them to apply for re-election. In 1891, Burnley Union Star, another local football team, disbanded, leaving behind a grandstand. Burnley FC seized the opportunity and relocated the stand to Turf Moor's north side, christening it the Stars Stand. That same year, Turf Moor hosted its second attempted floodlit match between Burnley and Nelson. 16 creosote-fueled lights were installed around the field's perimeter. While the edges were well lit, the field's center remained dark, according to spectators. As we neared the turn of the century, Turf Moor underwent significant changes. In 1898, the original Stars Stand was replaced by a larger grandstand, still affectionately called the Stars Stand. In 1903, a second tier was added to the Brunshall Road stand to house the club headquarters. Those fans who demand a second tier on the current Bob Lord stand might take note of this precedent. In preparation for the 1911-12 season, the club commissioned a new stand that cost £5,000, equivalent to over £500,000 today, and could hold up to 5,500 fans, with 2,200 seated. An L-shaped embankment was also built, likely using spoil from a local coal mine. However, a railway strike delayed the steelwork delivery for a new roof. Despite this, the stand was ready for the season opener against Leeds City. The dressing rooms were still under construction, so both teams used the adjacent cricket pavilion. Clearly the earlier tensions over the use of these changing rooms had subsided. In 1913, the club's leadership decided to demolish the Stars Stand for the second time to expand the existing embankment. The Brunshall Road stand was also extended to cover the entire pitch length, and by 1914, a roof was added over the terraces at the cricket field end. By 1914, Turf Moor could accommodate about 50,000 fans, nearly the entire male population of the town. This expansion coincided with a golden era for Burnley FC, winning the FA Cup in 1914 and the First Division Championship in the 1920-21 season. As East Lancashire men returned home after World War I, attention turned back to sports. Despite their earlier successes, the cricket club had found itself in financial straits. A letter was issued warning of the club's potential closure due to a lack of public support and dwindling membership. On March 13, 1919, the cricket club was in debt to the tune of £225. However, thoughts of dissolution were short-lived, and a new committee was formed. It appears that the cricket club had sold Turf Moor to the football club before this date. They needed to raise £3,500 to buy back the ground, and had additional debts of £1,500, totaling around £300,000 in today's money. By 1925, however, the cricket club had formed a limited company and gathered enough money to repurchase the land as freehold property. The 1920s were a decade of milestones for Burnley FC. The stadium hosted its only FA Cup semi-final in 1922 between Huddersfield Town and Notts County. For a special match, the Football Association requested that Turf Moor's pitch be lengthened to 115 yards, or approximately 105 meters. However, after the game, the field was reverted to its original size of 111 yards. The record attendance at Turf Moor was set on February 23, 1924, when 54,775 fans packed the stands for an FA Cup third-round match against Huddersfield Town. Tragically, the massive crowd led to the death of a fan. In 1927, Turf Moor hosted its only senior international match when England faced Wales. Burnley captain Jack Hill led the national team, which suffered a 2-1 loss, including an own goal by Hill. Over at the cricket club, growth was slower. Before 1920, the brick terrace-like pavilion had been updated to include a larger side room with an upper floor. In 1936, concrete terraces were added in front of the pavilion, extending towards Belvedere Road, doubling the seating area. New seating was also added on the Brunshaw roadside, allowing for about 500 additional spectators. That year, a young player destined to be a legend named Tommy Lawton made his debut for Burnley against Doncaster Rovers, becoming the youngest centre-forward to play in the Football League. He also delighted cricket fans by helping the club reach the semi-finals of the Worsley Cup. That winter, the cricket club further improved their ground by adding an extra 500 seats and a car park. However, these would be the last improvements at either ground prior to the outbreak of the Second World War. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe for more content like this in the future.